10 mind-numbing facts about animal hibernation. When animals have to survive harsh winters or survive a lack of food, they go into hibernation. Bears, bats, chipmunks, groundhogs, they all do it. Some of them just slow down and move way less than normal. Others simply go into a deep sleep until the season changes. Or at least, that's what we think. Anyway, the aim of hibernation is to slow down their metabolism and save energy, so they need to eat less. But that's not all there is to hibernation. I mean, there's a lot I'm sure you don't know about animal hibernation, and today I'll tell you 10 facts about animal hibernation that will definitely blow your mind. But before we start, make sure to like this video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos about different animals and creatures. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Number 10. Hibernation isn't actually the same as sleeping. A common misconception about hibernation is that humans think it's pretty much like deep sleep. And to be fair, for an outside observer, it's pretty hard to tell the difference. But hibernation isn't sleeping. Animals only get inactive to save energy. Their heart rates and their breathing slows down, and their body temperature drops. Researchers have actually observed different animals, and they saw the difference. Animals actually naturally rose from their hibernation to sleep or take naps. When sleeping, unconscious brain activity still occurs, but when they're in hibernation, their brain activity is totally undetectable. Number 2. Animals stuff their faces to survive during hibernation. When you have to spend so long without any food, you obviously need to prepare, right? Well, animals' way of preparing is quite different. They completely stuff themselves. I mean, right before hibernation. Animals eat so much that their weight actually doubles. All this weight helps them survive throughout the hibernation period, though. Also, another interesting fact, before bears go into hibernation, they go on an eating binge. They eat so much that they gain 30 pounds every week. Number 3. Animals don't only hibernate in winters. This one is probably the most common misconception about hibernation. We think animals only hibernate during winters. Well, that's not true. Some animals actually hibernate during periods of heat or drought. That's called estivation. When it gets too hot and animals can't deal with the harsh heat, they go into estivation. When estivating, they cool down their bodies, sometimes to freezing temperatures. It helps them survive the heat. Some animals that estivate include salamanders, hedgehogs, and groundhogs. Number 4. Periods of hibernation are different for different species. Normally, most animals tend to hibernate during the winters, so it's usually from November to March. However, these months aren't fixed for every single animal. I mean, first of all, animals that estivate do it during the scorching heat. But even for the animals who hibernate during winters, the actual time period is different for different species. Besides species, there are other factors that affect the length of the hibernation period as well. One of these factors includes the muscle mass of the animal. But besides that, another factor that affects the period is the environment of the animal. Animals that hibernate in open air do so for different periods than animals who hibernate closed off in a den or underground. Number 5. Animals don't have to learn how to hibernate. Hibernation isn't something that has to be taught to animals. They just know how to do it when the time comes. That means whenever there is a lack of food, or when they need protection from predators or from harsh weather conditions, they go into hibernation automatically. The most common trigger that makes animals hibernate is definitely changing seasons. As soon as the outside temperature starts dropping, animals know it's time to hibernate. And they do it automatically without any past practice. It's almost like a reflex action. Number 6. Some animals wake up during hibernation. Though this is rare, some animals actually don't spend the whole winter season hibernating. I mean, if hibernation is deep sleep, these animals are really just taking power naps. They wake up in between to eat or relieve themselves. That's because they can't build enough body fat to last the whole season. Most animals spend the whole winter season in hibernation though. Some animals who wake up in between include chipmunks, squirrels, and skunks. They usually have food stored nearby before they go into hibernation, so when they wake up, they can easily get the food. Talk about good planning skills. Number 7. A hibernating animal has internal controls. When it comes to wood frogs, their hibernation is a bit too extreme. I mean, more than half of the water in their body turns into ice during hibernation. They actually stay completely frozen during the hibernation period and wake up just fine. However, temperature levels going down to these extreme levels doesn't work for every animal. Most animals have internal controls during hibernation, so when the temperature of their bodies starts getting too low, a kind of internal alarm goes off. They can wake up right away, and their temperature rises when they get out of hibernation. Well, if you think waking up to a nightmare is hard, imagine waking up to an internal alarm that you're going to die. Number 8. Animals still get stuff done during hibernation. During hibernation, animals try their best to use as little energy as possible to slow down their metabolism. But even when doing that, they still manage to get things done. I don't know about you, but I wish I was that productive. Bears actually give birth and nurse their cubs during the hibernation period. Not just bears, but when birds are hibernating, they manage to incubate their nests during this period. These are just 2 examples, but some other animals manage to get important things done during the hibernation period as well. Number 9. First thing animals do after hibernation is finding food. Well, this one might be a little obvious, but as soon as they wake up from hibernation, animals go right out in search of food. I mean, it's been months since they ate, and they need a fresh energy source. Not just that, some need to expel waste right away that was building up during the hibernation period. Finding food or expelling waste makes sense, but believe it or not, another thing that animals go for right after hibernation is sleep. Yes, their body was working at minimum energy levels during hibernation, but they didn't get any proper sleep for months. Many animals actually come out of hibernation totally sleep deprived. If you're confused about how hibernation is different from sleep up till now, I'm sure you understand now. Number 10. Waking up an animal from hibernation can kill it. Saved the most mind-blowing fact for the end. Did you know, if you try to wake up an animal from hibernation, that's actually a huge risk that might kill it. It isn't entirely true for all animals, that depends on the species too, but either way, attempting to wake up an animal from hibernation can be very risky for them. That's because suddenly waking up from hibernation with a low body temperature can actually send the animal into shock. That's why when researchers go to observe animal hibernation, they do it from a distance so they don't endanger the animal. There's still a lot we humans don't know about hibernation though. Some scientists predict that in the future, humans would go into hibernation as well, and that would help them get over trauma or strokes. On the other hand, some scientists say that humans have evolved to the extent that they don't need hibernation at all. Well, who knows which one is right, but I guess we'll find out. On that note, we've come to the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you never miss any future uploads. And I'll see you guys next time.